This is Valley News Live at 10.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Justin Betty.
And I'm Stacey Van Dyke. We got through today's bitter cold, but our storm team already has their eyes on some snow up ahead.
Yeah, and this storm may be one to watch. Let's send things over to First Alert Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Hutch Johnson with the latest. Hutch.
Thanks so much. And Stacey, that moon was right behind you there. That's a beautiful sight tonight. The full moon taking place. First alert weather day is issued for Tuesday and Wednesday already. This is next week we're talking about now for a potential winter storm rolling out of Colorado. Here's what you need to know, and we'll have much more here in the main weather segment, but a potential is there for a region-wide winter storm. Some areas of heavy snow, some areas of wind, and some will get some rain and maybe even some freezing rain. And this going through our midweek day could impact travel. There could be some changes to the timing and track of the system. Now back to the moon, a beautiful shot there as we look at that full moon. And there's something peculiar going on tonight because that moon is passing between us and our view of the planet Mars. And because of that, we can't see it. But as we go through the next couple of hours here, Mars is going to start peeking its head out from behind the moon. So after midnight, take a peek up. But bundle up. It is a little on the chilly side out there. You may see Mars sneaking its little planetary self right outside from behind the moon as we are warming up now. It was 1 below when we last spoke. Now it's 1 above here in Fargo, 6 below in Grand Forks, so it's still chilly there. Yes, we still have some wind chills to battle, so put that survival kit in the back of your vehicle. I'll have details on a warm-up that's really going to take us out of this Arctic nonsense. And we'll have an update, of course, in detail about the looks of that winter storm here in just a few minutes.
Trending in the right direction. Thanks, Hutch.
Yes. And with our eventful winter weather, it's a good idea to keep that VNL weather app handy for forecasts right at your fingertips. You can download and use it for free. Just search VNL weather in the App Store today. Well, this time of year, cold weather also means more opportunities for kids to get sick.
And that appears to be the case at schools in the Fargo-Moorhead area. Valley News Team's Nishay Taylor joins us live tonight to break down the numbers and tells us what doctors are saying. Nishay?
Stacey, Justin, 628 students from Fargo Public Schools were out sick on Monday. That's more than double the amount from the same time last year, which was 279. Now across the river at Moorhead Area Public Schools, there were 620 students marked absent due to an illness, and the year before it was nearly 450 students. Now 370 students were out Monday at West Fargo Public Schools. Local health experts say they are seeing an influx of youth coming into hospitals with respiratory infections such as RSV, flu, and COVID-19. While it's not uncommon to see a peak in respiratory infections this time of year, medical professionals say it's happening earlier in the season, including flu cases rising faster than in previous years.
If the influenza cases rise as exponentially as they are doing right now, then it's easy for hospitals and ERs and clinics to get overwhelmed. We can flex a little bit, but if cases rise as they continue to rise for weeks on end, as they have been rising over the last couple of weeks, that gives us a pause, and we need to rethink our strategy.
The fact that RSV, influenza, and COVID-19 share similar symptoms is making this season especially tough for parents to treat their children who are homesick. Doctors say the only way to tell the difference between the viruses is through testing, which they do recommend in order to stop your child's virus from getting worse. It is also suggested to get a flu shot and a COVID-19 booster. Doctors say it's not too late. Stacey, Justin.
Thanks so much, Nishay. New tonight at 10, 2 weeks after more than 17 people were found to be part of human smuggling cases near the northern border. That made 2 in 1 week. 9 more people have now been arrested on similar charges. These 9 people were taken into custody Friday night, December 2nd, near a cemetery in Neche. According to court documents, they're all from Mexico and have since been charged with improper entry into the country. The 2 men in the middle of the top row there, Juan Huerta Ramos and Martin Loya Estrada, were also arrested and charged with conspiracy to transport illegal aliens and re-entry of a removed alien.
Now to an update on a story we've been following for months. A man will now officially go to trial on a murder charge for death in rural McHenry, North Dakota.
41-year-old Shannon Brandt is accused of running over 18-year-old Kaylor Ellingson after a street dance back in September. Brandt entered a not guilty plea during a 4-hour-long preliminary hearing where the judge also cut Brandt's bond in half. It's now posted at $500,000. This case got national attention because Brandt told 911 he hit Ellingson because he was threatened and that Ellingson was part of a Republican extremist group. The judge has not yet set the trial date.
Family members of a man who bled to death in the Cass County Jail have now filed a wrongful death suit in federal court. The suit is against the county, Sheriff Jesse Johnner, Essentia Health, and some employees of the county and the hospital. The family says 41-year-old Luke Leducer was denied medical care that could have saved his life. 2 years ago, Leducer called 911, said he was suicidal. Police took him to Essentia for care, but he was released and booked on an outstanding warrant. Shortly after that, he died in his jail cell about 17 hours after his initial call for help.
The suit claims the hospital did not check his vital signs or mental health before clearing him, adding that it would have been clear that he needed serious medical treatment. Also, new tonight at 10. A Williston man accused of possessing nearly 1,500 pounds of explosives is now facing more charges. 28-year-old Ross Petrie was initially charged with felony of release of destructive forces back in October. He now faces up to 10 additional counts, including possession of meth with intent to deliver and charges for possessing a bomb. He's currently free on $100,000 bond. Another hearing is set for December 16th.
Longtime IT employee for Beltrami County is facing charges for felony theft and fraud. A state audit revealed Ronald Pula spent nearly $150,000 in unauthorized purchases with county funds, claiming he purchased nearly 300 items which were found during a search at 2 different properties he owned. Detroit Lakes Police say Minnesota State Troopers' efforts made a life-saving difference tonight, finding a missing woman with dementia. When Trooper Mike Lundeen heard the radio traffic about the missing woman, he went to Detroit Lakes without being asked to help. He doesn't want to speak to us on camera, but he did tell us when he finished helping check the building where the woman had claimed to have left from, something caught his eye. He noticed footprints in an area that just didn't seem right. He followed them. The tracks led to the missing woman, who he cared for and helped warm up until help arrived before going back to his shift. Police say without him, she would not have been found. More than 12 hours after going missing, an 88-year-old Fargo man is back home safe tonight. He was found this morning in Lakes Country. Fargo police say it was all hands on deck trying to find Alfred Von Bank. Police say he was pulled over in Dilworth shortly before his information was blasted out. Information that Von Bank shared during that stop helped lead to him being found.
They had gotten intel that he was heading to the lake area. We alerted Becker County. They were actually able to find him through that information.
If your loved one goes missing, police say it's important to tell officers about that person's daily routines and people they spend time with, as well as description of what they were wearing.
State spending will climb 3% under a budget proposed today by North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum. He says the $18.4 billion budget reduces taxes for workers and tackles what the governor calls the state's #1 barrier to economic growth, our workforce challenge. Despite an unemployment rate of just 2.3%, the governor estimates the state has more than 35,000 vacant jobs and a critical lack of oil workers. The proposed budget also includes raises for state employees, 6% in the first year and 4% in the second year. Following yesterday's announcement of Minnesota having a record state budget surplus, $17.6 billion, 4 Minnesota senators are doubling down on a plan to abolish the state's tax on Social Security when the next legislative session begins. According to the AARP, Minnesota is one of only 12 states that taxes Social Security income. Meanwhile, Governor Tim Walz is continuing his push to use some of that surplus to give a rebate to taxpayers. He wants to give singles earning less than $164,000 a year $1,000 each and $2,000 to couples making less than $273,000.
Over $27 million. That's how much money has helped renters in Cass County alone over just the last 2 years through a program called ND Rent Help. I spoke with the state human service officials about where that money came from and how this program works. The state of North Dakota started offering the rental help back in May of 2020, but things really got going once the federal Treasury Department funding from the COVID relief acts kicked in 2021, and its reach has grown exponentially over the last year.
Now you're seeing people are working and their budgets are real tight. And so if they can find a way to help make their budget dollars go farther, they're applying for ND Rent Help, and we're hoping that it's helping people stabilize.
The program can provide up to 12 months of rent and utility assistance to households that make up to 80% of the area's median income, up to $68,000 to $79,000 a year for a family of 4, depending on where they live. And it applies to both renters and homeowners, and you can sign up online.
We try to make it as easy as we can. If you need to get us a document, you can even take a picture of it and upload it. We try to keep it as simple as we can for people.
Now, with more than $72 million spent statewide so far, there's obviously concern for fraud. Organizers say they fight that in part by paying the money directly to the housing provider or utility company rather than the person receiving the help.
We consider housing providers our beneficiaries as well. So we want to make sure that they get the rent that they are owed. We want to make sure that their renter has a place to live, that the homeowner has a place to live. And so this is a nice bridge program. We used to call it Rent Bridge, and we kind of like that name because it is a bridge. It's a bridge to housing stability for a lot of people.
ND Rent Help is designed to help supplement the housing resources that were already in place before the pandemic, like housing choice vouchers.